What's up, guys? I'm John.
My name is Chris.
And we are the Heck, and today we're checking out another freaking AniNews. This is some Overlord lore, homies, and this is how strong is Demiurge?
Yes.
Which has been a question that I've had in mind for a while, dude. Like, last episode of Demiurge was really cool. We got to talk and learn a lot about him and his creator and stuff, and that was cool. But man, it's just been in the back of my head. I'm like, can we trust this dude?
Yeah, we've always been curious about how strong he is because like the anime does a good job of telling you how smart he is.
Yes.
But not necessarily how strong he is. Like in some spots. But
yes. But so, speaking of some Overlord stuff, a little bit of stuff we need to tell you guys before we actually get into this episode. We are going to be watching both the Overlord movies, and we're starting it off with, let me find out what the freaking name is, because I'm a doofus and I can't remember nothing.
The Undead King?
The Undead King.
Yeah,
that's easy enough to remember. So freaking, we're going to be watching that actually on Friday night. So it'll be up on Saturday on our Patreon. If you guys want to hop on there, there is going to be a link to our Patreon in the description below. And officially, that will only be on Patreon. We're not going to be putting the movie up on here because we probably can't. So,
right.
So we're going to be posting the entire thing up on our Patreon. If you guys want to head over there, that would be freaking awesome. But yeah, if not, we're going to keep doing a lot of these lore while we're waiting on the next season to come out or the next movie or something along
newest movie. We gotta,
So, in saying all that, if y'all are new to our channel, smash that sub button as we're almost at 20,000 freaking subscribers. And let's get into this video, freaking boom! And then hitting that play button. Oh!
Here we are, back again with another video that will hopefully
What if play button did that every time?
Not actually answering the question at all.
See, like this.
Is Demiurge?
We never saw that.
Video,
yeah.
We've actually seen him in combat
Best
with
succubay.
himself, nonetheless. Though it was more of a play fight than anything.
So that's what
that certainly was not representative of the full extent of either of their powers.
That's what I was like, dude. We've seen that, but that wasn't really. That was for show.
It was like a wrestling
and
event.
See if he's actually worthy of being known as the creator of the Blazing Inferno, as his name infers.
Creator of the Blazing Inferno.
Quickly, I made a shirt with a modified Nazaric emblem, so it has
oh
an
shit,
A
that's
and
cool.
an N in it. You know, for AniNews.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Damn, dude.
I love the purple.
Let's begin.
Those are pretty slick, man. We need to get close with the AniNews stuff,
Demiurge
dude.
is a demon, which, as you should know by now, is part of the collection of heteromorphic races, and thus it gives him access to a full racial class tree in addition to the normal job class tree. Of his known levels, 35 are dedicated to race classes, of which only 15 are known. There's 10 levels in Imp, and another 5 levels in Archdevil.
I love that we're breaking down characters like this. It's so cool.
65 of his levels
I
are
love the
devoted to
names
job
of these
classes,
like
including
classes
10 levels in
too.
Shapeshifter, 10 levels in Prince of Darkness, and 10
like
levels
that's
in
so
Chaos,
rad.
leaving 35 unaccounted.
10 levels of chaos. That would be like 100 levels for myself. I'd be like 100 levels of chaos. Boom.
As I've said before, information on the mechanics of Demiurge's classes and races are very far and few between in the light novel. It's even harder to figure out exactly what they do, or how they even fit into the rest of his build, because in this case, we can't rely as heavily on Dungeons and Dragons to guide us in interpreting the names like we did last time.
Can you imagine wearing your suit with a tie all the way up?
Like, some speculation.
That seems
I'll be sure to make
constricting,
an
dude.
effort to separate that from the facts. It seems that, unlike Dungeons and Dragons, Yggdrasil does not differentiate between devils and demons. In Yggdrasil, devils are a subspecies of demons, whereas in Dungeons and Dragons, they were 2 distinct species. Both types of creatures were evil, but they came from different dimensions and had slightly different personalities. Devils were more rules-oriented and structured, whereas demons were haphazard and wild. In short,
I like it.
That's pretty
devils were,
cool.
well, devilish, while demons were, well, demonic. There is a difference, and just for reference, Demiurge embodies the meaning of lawful evil. To avoid any needless confusion, I'm just going to refer to the devils and demons from Dungeons and Dragons as fiends, and then the term that I'll use to refer to Yggdrasils will just be demons. So D&D is fiends, and Overlord is demons. You got it? Okay. Demiurge is a known mix of Imp and Archdevil. Imps mythologically are just small flying creatures, and they're among the weakest of the fiends. They're probably just the base race for all flying demons. Archdevil, on the other hand, looks to be like a rare demon class, meaning it was powerful but difficult to unlock and capped out at level 5. The arch prefix simply meant chief or highest, as in the highest devil. In order to reach it, one probably had to max out multiple other demon race classes, which is most likely where his other 20 unknown levels went. As for his classes now, Yeah, Chaos, Prince of Darkness, sure.
I love that Prince
are.
of Darkness that they just used. That was
Shapeshifter, on
awesome.
the other hand, is pretty obvious. This refers to his ability to shift
Oh,
his
yeah.
shape.
Fro,
See what I did
dude.
there? It's how he's able to turn into a
Yes.
frog.
We didn't see
And
that form very
presumably
much.
He has
Not much at
access
all.
to many other forms as well. I mean, I can't imagine why someone would spend 10 levels in a shapeshifter class just to give themselves a frog head and some wings.
I mean, it's
With
pretty
this
cool.
division of levels, what is he actually capable of? To know this, we first have to look at what his creator had in mind when he designed him.
His creator looks
Ulbert
wild as
Elaine
shit,
Odell
dude.
envisioned
Yeah, he does,
Demiurge
for
as a
real.
battlefield commander and strategist. Yeah, he had a greater calling than bipedal sheep farmer. He saw a commander
Sheep
who believed
farmer?
that
Damn,
victory in
dude, the
defeat was
bipedal sheep
determined
is
before
wild.
a battle was even fought. So it would seem his build is focused on summoning and buffing other demons en masse. Though he can
Heck
also
yeah.
be a support mage that buffs allies and debuffs enemies, or even transforms himself to improve his close combat potential. In battle,
Oh,
this would be
okay.
described as the role of a skirmisher, one who's flexible enough to support from the back line or fight in the front line. But he's really just designed to wear down his foes with large quantities of weaker enemies, as befitting his lore as the demon commander. Combine these mass
okay.
summons with an area of effect buff, amongst other support spells and abilities, and you've got yourself a pretty neat build. His key
Yeah.
ability, though,
Summons.
or ultimate you could say, is one that allows him to summon an evil lord once every 50 hours.
Oh,
An
damn.
evil lord being these extremely high-level devils from Yggdrasil. Despite their appearances, they aren't unique creatures, nor are they custom-made NPCs like many of the other floor and area guardians.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Rather, they are normally acquired as mercenary vassals. Basically, you acquire a magic item called a mercenary contract, and by expending a fee and consuming the contract, you're granted an allied vassal which can be given basic orders like guarding your guild base or following you around in combat. Of course, in the New World, this just translates to a full-blown servant who is as loyal as any other Nazarick NPC.
So I'm wondering,
For
though.
how long?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, can they overlap? Can you get numerous ones if they don't die
Yeah,
or whatever?
yeah,
Can,
like-
you just keep on getting new ones.
Just keep making your army grow.
Yeah.
Like summoning buds.
Yeah, dude, if that was the case and he could do like new ones every 50 hours, nobody's obviously killing them or whatever, especially in this world. So what if he
Yeah.
just has like a stockpile of them somewhere
keep-
and it's
just
just
keep
like,
going.
yeah, every 50 hours he just summons.
You're a
unlike
chef.
Ein's-
You're a general.
Yeah.
Does
You're a
undead
drinking
summons that
buddy.
are usually permanent,
Yeah, we're just
Demiurge's
drill.
evil lord will follow orders for a limited time before disappearing.
Son of a
Nazarick
bitch.
also
If only I
purchased
didn't hit
permanent
pause
versions
right
of
there,
all
we would have
God.
known.
Evil lords. So not
Well,
only
there
can
goes all
Demiurge
my,
summon additional evil
all
lords,
the drinking pals.
he also has 7 evil lord minions: envy, greed, sloth, wrath, pride, lust, and gluttony. Each
Oh,
of whom
hell
can
yeah.
summon another evil lord or just countless demon minions.
That's freaking
every
I'd be
day.
like,
Thus
we're going to
proving to
summon
be
up
quite
Lust a
interesting
lot. We're going to
version
summon
of
up
the kingdom.
Lust. Hey, how you
The
doing?
effect doesn't snowball, since summon creatures can't summon other creatures. The max evil lords that he could have at a time would be the one that he summons, the 7 that he rules over, then the 7 that they can summon, bringing us to a total of 15 evil lords at any
I'm
given
glad
time.
they did the math
Now,
because
Yeah.
I
in
don't
terms
even
of
Yeah.
know.
raw combat power, he's actually among the weakest of the floor
15's
guardians.
enough for a party, I'd
alongside
say.
Aura
I'd
and
say so.
Victim, with the lowest base combat stats among any of the known level 100 NPCs. His offensive, defensive, physical, and magic stats all sit around the 50s and 60s.
Still
His
pretty high.
resistance is
It's
what's maxed out,
respectable.
making debuffs and crowd control very difficult to apply on him. That being
That's
said,
cool.
he can temporarily boost his physical capabilities, thanks to a selection of abilities called Aspect of the Devil.
Aspect
One
of the
ability
Devil?
is split into several components, each granting a unique effect or buff. There's Archdemon's Wrist, which increases the size of his hands and wrists,
okay.
thus moderately increasing his strength and allowing him to grapple and pin enemies or hold extremely large objects.
That's
Then
awesome.
Razor Sharp
I'll
Claw,
grip you.
which elongates his fingernails into extremely large claws, turning them into powerful natural
Dude,
weapons.
that's wild.
Tentacle Wings, which sprout wings that can grant flight and shoot tentacle-like feathers at enemies at extremely high speeds. Then
Tentacle-like
there's Stout
feathers?
Demon's gigantic
That's a
arms,
weird combo.
which
Yeah.
greatly increases the size of his arms as well as his arm strength. And lastly, 8-limbed Speed, which
8-limbed
greatly increases
speed.
his movement speed and agility. He may
He gets
also
8
have
legs.
other
I know, yeah,
aspects of
dude,
the
dang.
abilities that have yet to be revealed. When he stacks multiple of them together, this puts him approximately on par with Ainz when he's in his Momon persona, with
Oh.
his Perfect Warrior spell active,
Ah,
which, all things
damn.
considered, is a relatively half-baked level 100 warrior. Clearly from this, Demiurge's ability to transform is put more towards a series of self-buffs and small changes to specific areas of his body, Sure, Albedo and Sebas were given the ability to transform into a final form, but Demiurge's changes aren't entirely what you or I would call a final form.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's reasonable to rule out the idea that Wilbur just didn't consider giving Demiurge a final form just because he had a few shapeshifter levels.
Yeah.
I imagine that regardless of what combination of races and classes he picked, he couldn't quite get the final form to look cool enough.
His frog
After
face is
all,
pretty
custom
awesome.
NPCs had to follow the same rules that ordinary players were subject to. And I would think that no matter how you made your character, you couldn't make it into a 30-foot tall Balrog-looking creature. No, instead
pretty
he gave
badass,
him
though.
the ability to temporarily boost his combat capabilities via the aspect of the devil.
Plays
But of
into
course,
his
if he
strategic
really wanted to be
mind.
creative about
'Cause he
things,
can choose what he
could
needs to
summon
do
a really
for the
strong,
situation.
tough-looking
Yes.
evil lord like the Lord of Wrath, and then teleport away or go invisible. Even if the Lord of Wrath were lower level than Demiurge, if it did have better physical combat stats, it would appear as if he transformed into it. This makes you wonder how the Shapeshifter class really fits into the game mechanically, as well as into his broader build. In a game focused so heavily around PvP and just combat in general, it can be difficult to think of a reason why the developers would make a class like this if all it let you do was just give yourself a frog's head or grow a pair of wings.
I mean,
If all we were after was just utility, a low-leveled arcane spellcaster can already access spells like Fly, even teleportation.
Okay.
So why create a class dedicated to something like this? And why would players even pick it? Well, Yggdrasil was supposed to have almost 1,000 different classes. So perhaps there were hundreds of such gimmick classes that, in the grand scheme of things, they were fairly worthless but still cool, I guess.
I
If
wish
we
they'd make
were
a
to
full-on
speculate,
game of this. Like,
considering
Yggdrasil would be
Yggdrasil's
amazing.
emphasis on the importance of information gathering, being able to get the jump on someone would provide a massive advantage in PvP. Perhaps shapeshifters were able to conceal their presence by transforming into harmless animals. Their health bar, name, and level would just disappear, or be replaced by that of a neutral creature.
Ah, that's pretty cool.
What would you say is the closest video game to Yggdrasil?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I would say World of Warcraft is pretty close, probably. Just because of the different races and, you have your different classes. I mean, you couldn't really combine the classes,
Yeah.
but
I would definitely probably
one's
say,
probably up
like,
there.
WoW was definitely was in my head, but I don't know, man.
There was another game where you could, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. You remember that one?
I never played it.
You could kind of combine all of the different classes to make other
that's
classes.
freaking cool.
So like you had your skill tree for intelligence, dexterity, and then warrior. So you had warrior, rogue, and mage, but you could mix them together and
that's freaking
get
cool.
different skills from each one, and
Yeah.
it would turn you into like a different class.
Oh, damn.
Like for each thing.
That's
you did.
freaking
So
cool.
I feel like that one's probably really close to it.
Yeah, but was it huge open world and stuff like that as well, too?
It was pretty open world, I would say.
I don't know. I just
Being
wish
said,
that we had something
Demiurge's
like that. That'd be
transformations
amazing.
Suggest that shapeshifting wasn't full-body transformations. After all, the ability to transform one's entire body into something else, both in appearance as well as gameplay mechanics, was one of the powers of the doppelganger racial class tree.
Doppelgangers.
But
Yes.
rather than have two classes that do the exact same thing, I think it's a safer bet to assume that the shapeshifter class lets you temporarily enhance your body with special effects and buffs, obviously including things like wings for flight. Even
So I'm
beyond
wondering if
that,
that's
though,
just
there could be way
speculation.
more combat-oriented buffs, such as growing a beast's hide to act as a natural armor, or growing a bat's ears and eyes to use echolocation and gain immunity
Go
to blindness effects. Perhaps something even like improved dodge rate with cat-like reflexes. But I think you get the point now. What about some of his active special abilities, which, as you may recall,
Yeah,
have
that.
a limited number of uses per day? Because there is this cast limit, and the fact that he has a relatively small mana pool, he has to ration how he uses them. Though the diversity and flexibility in the spell options that he has provides a great amount of versatility despite there being this limited
I'm
number.
so stoked to
We've
watch this
seen
movie,
damage,
dude.
utility, crowd control, and buff spells. His known ones include Frost of Judecca, which completely freezes a target for a period of time.
No, damn.
Greater teleportation, which allows the caster
I'm
to
liking that it's
teleport
telling,
themselves
like,
and
what tier
others
this is,
anywhere
too.
the caster had been before.
Yeah, that's
Hellfire
cool.
Wall, which conjures a wall of dark fire that deals high negative energy damage in a specific area.
Yeah, give me that
Flames of
Hellfire
Gehenna,
Wall.
which buffs all allied demons in a targeted area with
Oh,
improved stats, empowered abilities, and increased drop rates.
Nice.
And lastly, there's Meteor Fall, which summons a massive meteor to land on a target location, blinding nearby enemies over a wide area as it falls, and then flattening all those in said location. Demiurge also has one more tier 10 spell, but its capabilities are unknown. It also seems many of his known spells have a demonic or devilish theme to them. For instance, Judecca is one of the sections of the 9th level in Dante's Inferno, while Gehenna is just another term for hell. So it's possible a lot of his spells stem from his Prince of Darkness or Chaos classes. If we shift over to his equipment now, it's actually really straightforward. He has none, or at least no notable ones. We know that the suit he wears might be an important or powerful item,
I was thinking about
and
his
he
glasses,
definitely
maybe.
treasures it as a gift from his creator, but we've never gotten any details on it. He's never wielded any other weapons or equipped any other pieces of armor either, preferring to just attack enemies with spells or abilities, while trusting in his suit and mask for protection. There is, however, one item that's worth noting. Ulbert was obsessed with a world item that could summon an unlimited army of demons into existence that would eventually swallow the entire world. And he became obsessed with the idea of crafting an item that could imitate this. He created several prototypes, but ultimately failed, since he couldn't manage to get the item to cast more than 5 spells simultaneously. His final attempt was a creepy-looking statue which contained 6 jewels that each had the power to cast the 10th tier spell, Armageddon Evil. But of course, the item could only cast 5 of them. As such, he left it in Demiurge's inventory, which was fitting for a commander of a devil army. Demiurge had intended to leave this item in the kingdom after his demons invaded it. He wanted to pretend it was the pretext for his invasion. Ainz handed him a weaker prototype that Ulbert had built to use instead, and suggested that Demiurge hold on to the powerful item that his creator had gifted to him. Demiurge, of course, was more than happy to. Which brings us now to his build as a whole. Initially, I had said that it was oriented around summoning and buffing. Really though, that's just speculation. Yeah, he can summon devils, and has created at least one devil buffing spell in the novel. And he's supposed to be a commander.
Why don't they show that in the freaking anime?
Focused around the summoning and buffing of mass quantities of devils, right? Well, no, not necessarily. That's a pretty big leap of logic. After all, he can only actually summon a single evil lord himself, and he requires his other evil lords to summon the rest of the demon army for him. It'd be hard to be a mass summoner if you can only summon one thing yourself. So what exactly is his build focused on?
It's just basically a mercenary at that
Demiurge's
point.
selection of abilities are an explicit reference to the mechanics shared by most Dungeons & Dragons fiends. While devils and demons in Dungeons & Dragons came in a variety of forms with various strengths and weaknesses, the most prominent feature of all of them is their ability to summon a group of lesser demonic or devilish creatures. And as you'd naturally expect, if you were a more powerful or high-ranking devil or demon, you'd be able to call forth more powerful and high-ranking minions. On top of this, these stronger versions are almost all capable of casting a limited selection of powerful high-level spells. Then, some of them can even change their form at will. They are known to trick and tempt mortals into doing evil deeds, and routinely disguise their appearance using a transformation ability in order to do so. Lastly, many of them are extremely powerful and tough in a fight. They are frequently massive and intimidating in stature, mirroring Demiurge's ability to transform his body parts in order to properly throw hands with Ainz himself. Basically, Demiurge's capabilities are a love letter to the most iconic aspects of Dungeons & Dragons fiends. Once you view Demiurge's build as a roleplay build first, and not some kind of optimized power gaming PvP build, things begin to make a bit more sense. You see, while guild NPCs were ostensibly a mechanic for creating guards for the guild base, the vast majority of NPCs were just created for the fun of it, and they weren't necessarily intended to actually be useful in combat. That's not to say that Nazarick paid no mind to defenses. Nazarick's 8th floor is a literal death trap that could stop virtually any invasion by exploiting broken game mechanics. You know,
dude,
like
that's
that
such an awesome scene.
1500 player and NPC invasion that got absolutely annihilated in Yggdrasil. That aside though, custom NPCs were a rare opportunity to create a custom character with their own appearance and AI script, but had a limited number of levels to work with. Members would rather blow 41 levels on making 41 cute maids than make a single level 41 character which could be used to guard their base. So even though Demiurge was a level 100 floor guardian, that didn't mean his build had to be designed for PvP combat. He could blow those 10 levels on Shapeshifter to give himself those bat wings. Why not? He could take a few cool fiendish sounding spells like Frost of Judecca, or whatever. Even if his mana pool was very low and his magic attack power wasn't really that high,
I guess that's a really cool way to look at it.
That matched his character and was worth using. But sometimes, it could all just be for the sake of design. This doesn't mean that
Makes
he's
sense,
weak,
dude.
though. Of course he can still curb stomp everybody in the New World. I mean, he is a level 100 floor guardian. That's pretty much a god in the New World, maybe even more powerful. His base stats alone are more than enough to crush most enemies of Nazarick, except for maybe an
what
Elder
that special
Dragon.
stat
So
means
having
down
a
there.
roleplay
That's
dude,
maxed out
yeah.
too.
quite as much of a weakness as you may think. In fact, a Nazarick denizen's capabilities are determined from their background lore as much as they are from their Yggdrasil build, if not more so.
Dang.
Tactics, strategy, and intelligence play an extremely important role in determining how successful a character will be in combat, even at the
definitely.
highest levels of gameplay. Ainz had demonstrated this very clearly in his fight against Shaltir.
Yeah, that's what I was
The
thinking
fact that
about.
Demiurge is a terrifyingly intelligent army commander might very well make him one of the strongest denizens of Nazarick, since he would be able to take on enemies far stronger than himself using a powerful combination of his wit and his demon armies. Honestly, the more that I think about it, the more I realize how similar to Lelouch that Demiurge can be.
Oh shit.
They're both not the strongest, but they make the best use of the resources that they have to literally play everybody else. But while we're speaking of Nazarick, our last topic will be his domain. Demiurge is the
Domain
guardian of the
expansion.
7th floor. Not much is known about the location, but its appearance is a fiery hellscape
It
straight out of
looks
the
like
deepest
looks like
circles of
hell, kinda.
Before Nazarick was taken over by the guild,
Yep.
it was the home of a fierce and powerful fire dragon.
Oh, that's
After
cool. I
taking it
didn't know
over,
that.
Ulbert created a home for
Dang.
Demiurge known as the Blazing Temple. It looks like a ruined Grecian temple filled with destroyed
Grecians.
monuments dedicated to various gods, almost as if
That's
demons
freaking
had
rad.
swooped in already and ransacked the temple and desecrated the monuments. Though it is
was
a
an
ruin,
awesome moment.
in a sense, it's fitting for the leader of an army of demonic beings. At least Demiurge sees the
That old
poetry
dude
of a
is such a
desecrated
badass.
temple as a sign of Ulbert's love.
my children.
The only other known locations on the 7th floor is a river of lava where a powerful level 90 slime creature known as Gurin resides. Demiurge has also been put in charge of Ashurbanipal, the library on the 10th floor of Nazarick. After all, this
That's
was where
cool.
the bulk of items with the appearance of books and scrolls were stored. Demiurge, of course, would need to coordinate with the library denizens for his scroll manufacturing experiments. Then for the rest of his duties, he just relied on his own minions. So, in summary, we have an evil genius, a demon army commander, and most importantly, a bipedal sheep farmer. How strong is he? Not very stats-wise, but his IQ levels are off the scales. So, given
that
he
definitely
has enough time
matters
to plan,
most, I'd
he could
say.
probably beat most people in a fight. And that, everyone, is Demiurge. Now, before
Well
I go,
done, sir.
just a reminder that the Overlord t-shirts are available from the link in the description.
I kind of,
It's a great way
dude.
to support this channel while also being able to get something physical out of it.
Listen,
so if you want, feel
hold up. All right, we could let him go on and talk about these things, but we're gonna do something else really quick because I haven't ever checked this out myself, and I'd like to see what his freaking shirts look like. Do we actually have a website still? It would suck really bad if we got on here and there was like no more freaking no more actual
Right.
websites. So this is the site, dude. These are the things he's got. He's got a freaking desk mat. Holy shit! Look at
Oh,
that one.
that's
That looks cool as
freaking
hell.
Awesome.
The Armory desk mat, Succubase stickers, which I think is pretty legit. And then, do they have like, what do we got? What do we got? Is there like just, nope, Creator Spring Explorer maybe? Nothing. I think that's probably it, man.
Homeware,
So that might be all they've got
Yeah,
right
it looks
at
like
the moment.
stickers and the desk
But
mat.
also look at this desk mat. That thing's
that
badass,
thing-
dude.
yeah, I love
It's
that.
pretty freaking slick, man. But
has a freaking staff of.
I bet you anything they've moved their site to something else now. That's kind of what I was thinking because I think this, like all these videos were years ago. That
Yeah,
he
that's
actually came out with that.
wild to think of.
Yeah.
because it's so relevant. To
I
us
know,
now.
dude. Yeah, but I will say this. So we're gonna be checking out obviously the movies, and I don't know, man. Watching all of this lore has been making me want to watch this show even more now, man.
Yeah.
It's been so freaking cool to just, I don't know,
I've got the itch bad.
very badly, dude. And so I don't know. I'm really stoked to be watching the movie. We're gonna watch both movies for sure, but at least Friday we're gonna be checking the Undead King out. We're gonna be watching that one, and it's probably like, I don't know. I haven't watched the other one yet either. But like as far as the things that we've been seeing, a lot of like him actually putting on the stuff and like seeing actual Momonga, that's gonna be cool, man.
Yeah,
Because I don't think
before
we've
he,
ever.
like became or whatever.
Hopefully we see it. At
Yeah.
least see him. I've never even in the anime it never showed him. Like
Mm-mm.
not even once. I don't even know what he actually looks like really as a person outside of Yggdrasil.
What if it doesn't even show him like really that much? It just shows like the back of his head
I'd
or
just
something.
be like, all right, well, we at least got something, dude.
We tried.
So, but either way, I'm really genuinely stoked to check that out. Watching these is going to be really fun. And then also just like seeing, I don't know, man. I just, like I said, I've been really craving watching this show again.
Yeah.
So,
and it's going to be awesome to watch these other movies in kind of like preparation for the new one as well. So,
yeah. And then hopefully, motherfreaking new season. Hopefully in the near future. I don't know.
That would be
Fingers
rad.
crossed. But either way, homies, thank y'all very much for checking this one out. And for real, if y'all have not yet, smash the sub button. Tell your homies about it as well, too, because we were literally 800 away from getting to 20,000 by the end of the year. And that's our game plan. That's what we're shooting for really freaking hard. So please tell people. And yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Toodles, homies.
Later.
Freaking